bigger, better experiences when you're tripping. Literally.
Hello, mighty companions.
Hello.
Hello, mighty companions. Hello.
Good morning.
Welcome to A Course in Miracles. Welcome online on Facebook Live. I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles. I'm Earl Purdy, and I want to get rid of every block that keeps me from having all the possible joy and happiness that I can possibly experience. Is that a worthwhile goal?
Oh, yeah.
Are we willing to do that together?
Let's do it.
Woo! Yes. So those of you who are watching online, I'm Earl Purdy. Thank you for tuning in to the Course in Miracles Live here on Facebook. Would you take a breath? I want to give everybody an opportunity to come online. Today we're going to talk about how to choose joy instead of pain. So one of the things that I'm going to try to cover as much as I can is what it talks about, what the Course teaches about how to handle and let go of pain and any form of sickness or pain. Now, have any of you ever had any form of sickness or pain, or are you in such denial that I need to call for help for you? Okay, so, because some people go, no, I've never experienced, okay, all right, okay, yeah, we all believe you, we really do, we really do. So, I have experienced some pain over the last few weeks, and it's really good to me to get an opportunity to take the Course in Miracles and apply it to something that I'm going through. I'm not one of these people who want to not know how to apply the Course in Miracles in a practical way. Because what good is it coming together to study this stuff if we don't use it, and if we can't apply it to our personal experience? So, and so I'm going to take this and what we're talking about, I'm going to apply it to myself, and I'm also hoping that you'll take some situation or circumstance in your life, apply it to you, or try to remember it when something comes up in your experience that you need to do this. So today I might be jumping around a little bit more than you're accustomed to me jumping around and doing it. Because what blows my mind all the time about the Course in Miracles is how it always takes an approach to stuff that's totally opposite to what we've been taught. And I've come to learn that that's why I think it might work. Because the Course doesn't describe anything the way we've been taught. And so let's go to lesson 190. And if you got the workbook, I got some loaner copies up here if you want to use them. And we're going to go through this section. This section is called I Choose the Joy of God Instead of Pain, which is the same as saying I choose the joy of real love and real truth instead of pain. Okay, so I'm going to read through the entire section right quick. It'll take about 10 minutes. And the reason why I do that is because it takes a minute. First of all, we need to hear the whole thought. And then the next thing is it takes us a few minutes sometimes to get really centered and to become present. So I want you to kind of like use this as an opportunity to just breathe, relax, listen or not listen, but I believe it'll bring our energies in more. And I'm so glad and so thankful that you're here. I had a fantastic, awesome, off the chain, beyond my wildest dream, satisfying Thanksgiving with my family. In Memphis, especially with my children and my grandchildren. It was beyond my wildest imagination. It was another example of watching the Course in Miracles work, because I've had a chance to learn a lot of my lessons through my children. And it's so good to see us having the kind of same loving relationship that we have with each other, because I applied the Course. That's what's so good about it. It had nothing to do with my wisdom directly with them. It had to do with me taking what this Course is saying to me and applying it, guess what? To who? Guess to who? Myself. Right. But when you think about it, that would be the easiest way to correct something. Even though that's not the way we're programmed to think. We think the way that you make yourself happy is to change other people, to meet your desires, right? And so it's like, that's when you begin to wake up in your consciousness, you can see that that is the most ridiculously hard way to come to happiness that you could possibly come up with, is to make your happiness dependent on changing other people's minds and getting everybody else to act out your script. But I declare I did that for years and years. Anybody else? Don't leave me hanging out here by myself. Anybody else ever done that? In case if you want to have a quick test in order to tell when you are doing that, making your happiness dependent on something outside of yourself, it's whenever you're angry. It's whenever you're upset. It's whenever you're feeling guilty. It's whenever you're feeling depressed. That's when you're using the ego's plan or the false plan, which is you got to be telling yourself that there's something outside of yourself and somebody else needs to be doing something different or acting different in order for you to be happy. That's your clue. You use your feelings to get in touch with your beliefs. It's better to use your feelings to get in touch with your beliefs. It's better to use your feelings to get in touch with your beliefs, because your thinking is not the best way to get in touch with your beliefs. Right. Because you can tell yourself anything, you can rationalize anything, you can lie to yourself about what you believe and what you think, but your feelings get you in touch with your beliefs. And you know really whether or not you're feeling peace or not. You know when you're feeling shut down, you kind of know when you're feeling contracted. And what's cool about that is, it doesn't mean your feelings are based on anything that's true. I'll say that again. Yeah. It doesn't mean, I'm not telling you your feelings are always true. Your feelings are always your feelings and they're valid because they're your feelings. But that definitely doesn't mean what you're telling yourself is true. Right. But what your feelings do is they get you in touch with what you believe is true. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the difference. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I want to know what I believe, then I need to pay attention to my feelings. Okay. All right. The other thing that I wanted to say is we want to get in the right attitude in order to hear what's being said. And the right attitude to hear what's being said is to recognize we don't need to what? Believe it, accept it, or welcome it. We don't have to believe these ideas, accept these ideas, or welcome these ideas. Some of these ideas may be hard to believe. Some of these ideas may be startling. The Course in Miracles is not asking us to analyze and judge the ideas at all. It's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning and will show you that they're true. So if you're a person that just listens but never applies it, then it won't seem like it's working. Sometimes people get disgusted and think the truth doesn't work because they've been hearing it. And the Course is saying what really makes the difference, even beyond hearing it, is remembering it. Okay? I'm a divine remembering teacher. I'm a divine repetition teacher. Those are my letters behind my name, DRT. You know, it's not DDT. Those are my relationships in the past. They would say I'm Earl Purdy, DDT. But it's DRT, divine remembering. So I'm much more interested in us remembering what we're hearing than analyzing what we're hearing. So I want you to take this as an opportunity to let yourself hear it. Okay? Take a breath. You with me? Okay, here we go. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Pain is a wrong perspective. When pain is experienced in any form, it's proof of self-deception. Pain is not a fact at all. Say, what? Pain is not a fact at all. Lesson 190 in the workbook, page 361. Page 361. Pain is not a fact at all. There is no form that pain takes that will not disappear if seen correctly. That's a powerful statement. For pain is actually proclaiming that God is cruel. And how could God being cruel be real in any form? Pain is a witness to God's hatred of us, the sinfulness that God would see in us. And pain would witness to our Creator's insane desire for revenge and death. Have a nice day. Can such projections be attested to? Can such projections be anything except totally false? Pain is just a witness to your mistake and what you think you are. Pain is just a dream of your fierce retaliation for a crime that couldn't be committed, for an attack on what is totally unassailable. Pain is a nightmare of abandonment by an eternal love, which could not leave you, whom it created, out of love. Pain is a sign false ideas reign in place of truth. Pain demonstrates that you've denied God, which is real love, that you've confused God with love with fear, that it demonstrates you think God is crazy and seen as a traitor to God's self. If God is real, if real love is real, there is no pain. If pain is truly real, there is no God. For vengeance is not part of love. And fear, which is the denial of love, uses pain to prove that God is dead and has shown that death is the victor over life. That you are just a body, corruptible in death, as mortal as the Creator that you've slain. I love this. Peace to such foolishness. I love that. Peace to such foolishness. The time has come to laugh at such insane ideas. Pain has... The time has come to laugh at such insane ideas. There's no need to think of these ideas as savage crimes or secret sins with weighted consequences. Who but a madman would conceive of what I just said as a cause of anything? Their witness, pain, is as mad as they are, and no more to be feared than the insane illusions which pain shields and tries to demonstrate must still be true. In other words, it is your thoughts alone that cause you pain. Nothing external to your mind can hurt or injure you in any way. There is no cause beyond yourself that can reach down and bring oppression. No one but yourself affects you. There is nothing in the world that has the power to make you ill or sad or weak or frail. That it is you who have the power to dominate all things you see by merely recognizing what you are. I said again, you have the power to dominate all things you see by recognizing what you are. As you receive the harmfulness in all things will accept your holy will as theirs. And what has been seen as fearful now becomes a source of innocence and holiness. My holy brothers and sisters, I want you to think about this a while. The world you see does nothing. The world you see does nothing. The world you see has no effects at all. The world you see has no effects at all. The world you see merely represents your thoughts. The world you see just represents your thoughts. The world you see just represents your thoughts. The world I see just represents my thoughts. The world I see just represents my thoughts. The world will change entirely. Do you know that the world will change entirely as you elect to change your mind and choose the joy of God as what you really want? Do you know that your self is radiant in the innocent joy? That your self is unchanged, unchanging, and unchangeable forever and forever? And would you deny a little corner of your mind? Would you deny a little corner of your mind its own inheritance? Would you keep a little corner of your mind like this? Would you keep a little corner of your mind as a hospital for pain? Ooh. Would you keep a little part of your mind as a pain hospital? Whew, that's deep. That is so deep. That is so deep. What is a pain hospital? It's a sickly place in your mind where living things must come at last to die. So in other words, would you keep part of your mind and use it as a place for pain where living things must come to die? The world may seem to cause you pain, and yet the world, as causeless, has no power to cause. As an effect, the world cannot make effects. The world cannot make effects. As an illusion, the world is what you wish. The world is what you wish. The world is what you wish. Your idle wishes represent the world's pains. Your idle wishes. Whew. Wow, that's deep. Your idle wishes represent the world's pains. Your strange desires brings the world's so-called evil dreams. Your thoughts of death envelop the world in fear, while in your kind forgiveness does the world live. We're down to the last 4 paragraphs. We can do it. Pain is the thought of evil taking form. Pain is the thought of evil working havoc in your innocent mind. Pain is the ransom you have gladly paid not to be free. In pain, God has denied you the child God loves. In pain does fear appear to triumph over love. In pain does time replace eternity and heaven, which is our reality. And the world becomes a cruel and bitter place where sorrow rules and little joys give way before the onslaught of this savage pain that waits to end all joy in misery. Lay down your arms and come without defense. Lay down your arms and come without defense into the quiet place where heaven's peace holds all things still at last. Lay down all thoughts of danger and of fear. Let no attack enter with you. Lay down the cruel sword of judgment that you hold against your own throat. Put aside the withering assaults with which you seek to hide your innocence. Here will you understand there is no pain, there is no pain, there is no pain. Here does the joy of God belong to you. This is the day when it is given you to realize the lesson that contains all of healing's power. And this is it. Pain is illusion. Joy is reality. Pain is a false idea. Joy is reality. Pain is a false idea. Joy is reality. Pain is a false idea. Joy is reality. Pain is but sleep. Joy is awakening. Pain is deception. Joy alone is truth. And so again, we make the only choice that can ever be made. We make the only choice that can ever be made. We choose between illusions. We choose between illusions and the truth. We choose between pain and joy. We choose between hell or heaven in our perception. Let our gratitude unto our teacher, our inner teacher, fill our hearts. As we are free, you are free, we are free to choose our joy instead of pain. We are free to choose our joy instead of pain. We are free to choose our holiness, which is our innocence, in place of the idea of sin. We are not sinful. We are free to choose our joy. We're free to choose our joy instead of pain, our innocence in place of the idea that we are sinful. We are free to choose the peace of God instead of conflict. And the light, we are free to choose the light of love, the light of heaven for the darkness of the world. We are free to choose love instead of the fear of the world. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. We choose the joy of God instead of pain. We choose the joy of God instead of pain. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Say it to yourself. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Say what? I choose the joy of God instead of pain. That's the same as saying, I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. Wow. Okay. Let's go back through that as much as we can. What was one thing you heard out of that statement that stuck out for you when I went through that section? Tell me something that you heard, if you heard anything that stuck out for you.
The overall concept I got was that God, love, was telling me that it was time to stop slaughtering myself and to surrender.
To stop slaughtering yourself and surrender. That was the message that you heard in that. Because it's important to think about what crossed your mind while you were hearing any part of it.
Yeah, for me it was very personal because some of you know I've had shoulder injuries lately. And I just found out that I have another one. And I just decided this is the time that I was going to change my mind.
Yes.
And I changed my mind, and
Yes.
I'm not feeling any pain.
Ooh.
It's like an amazing thing, you know. The injury is there, but it's not hurting me.
That's what's been one thing with me. I have been deceiving myself through my foot and toe. And every time I focus on the truth, every single time I read, every time I teach, I don't feel anything. It's the weirdest thing. You know, up to 2 o'clock.
You'll be good.
Yeah, as soon as I go, may the course be with you.
May the crutch be with you.
May the crutch be with me and the course be with you. Thank you very much, Carla. I appreciate that. And by the way, I want to thank you so much for doing the class for me last week when I gave everybody an opportunity to escape. Okay. It's funny, every time I change consciousness, my class changes. Every single time. And I've had a radical shift in my consciousness over the last 2 weeks. And so that proves the truth is true. Because when you change your mind, the people around you are going to change. Some people are going to go with you to wherever you go, like you. And then there will be new people coming in for where you are now. So one of the things we have to do is let people come and go.
That's right.
The Course in Miracles teaches that having people in your life, all of your life, there are very few relationships you're going to ever have that last a lifetime. That's really a very unrealistic goal that we set.
Yes.
That what happens in most relationships is you come together, learn as much as you can from each other at the time, and then appear to separate. He said that's what happens. And if people would be honest with themselves, that's exactly what they would say happens.
Sure.
It's only our ego that tells us everybody that comes into our life, we should have them in our life for the rest of our life. You know, the Course says all relationships are destined to become healed and holy, so don't worry about it. Sooner or later, we're going to love everybody, and everybody's going to love us, and there's some people you need to put at the back of the line. You get to them when you get to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What most people do is they go straight for the toughest one first. They think when they come to a class, they're supposed to forgive the person they got the biggest grievances with first. And actually, no. No, you just probably learned as much as you could from that person at the time, and you appeared to separate.
So Les says, pain is the price I pay for feeling separated. It's the same as throwing away my money at any price.
If you look at it like it's throwing away your money when you hold a grievance, you won't keep a grievance as much.
That's true.
If you looked at it like every time you held a grievance, it was going to decrease your bank account, you think about it more. The truth doesn't have any meaning to us until we can make it relative to what we value.
Right.
Or else it just sounds so pie in the sky. And that's what it's saying here, that stop making yourself feel guilty about relationships that don't last for a lifetime, because the Course says just because you're in a relationship with somebody for a lifetime, it doesn't mean you're going to like each other. It says you might remain hostile toward each other for the rest of your life. And you've seen people who've been together for years and years and years under the same roof and hostile to each other. It's called many husbands and wives.
Marriage.
Right? And so the Course then says what's happening in that lifelong relationship is that you're being given unlimited opportunities to change the way you look at things with each other. And the Course also says the purpose of any relationship should be to learn how to see each other as sinless and guiltless and innocent. Not all the other stuff we come up with that we say relationships are for. And he says you're also supposed to stop seeing each other as having separate interests. that y'all got the same interests. Y'all both want to see each other's innocent. You both want to see each other from a loving place. Let's not complicate this. Don't let your ego complicate the course. The course is only talking about purpose, meaning, and content. It's not concerned about the forms of the physical things that you go through, because it looks at the forms of the physical things you go through as if you would look at a lampshade. It's the bulb that makes the lamp valuable. Very few people are interested in a lamp that doesn't turn on.
Right.
I don't care how pretty it is. So that's why we're always trying to turn each other on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very common saying. You turn me on. You want to be around people who have turned you on. And you want to be around people you feel innocent with and you feel inspired by. Mm-hmm. Right? So when I go through pain, the first thing I tell myself, as soon as I can remember to tell myself, is, okay, Purdy, you got a foot pain, you having the wrong perspective. Forget about you know all the stuff you can do in the world to deal with your foot. Let's go to the real reason. You're seeing something incorrectly right now. It says it right here. When pain is experienced in any form, it's proof of self-deception. There can be pain in a relationship. There can be pain financially. There can be pain spiritually. There can be, when we say, does any kind of pain mean any kind of pain?
Any kind.
Okay. Any kind of pain means that you are deceiving yourself about something. Any kind of pain means you are fooling yourself about something. It's not. That's what it means when it says it's not a fact. It's not a fact because you're fooling yourself. And I love this sentence. There is no form the pain takes that won't disappear if you see it correctly. So if the pain is continuing to stick around in my perception, then it means that I'm still not seeing the pain correctly. Then the mind goes, well, what would be the correct perception of the pain? That it is a wrong perspective. See, whenever you read the course, the answer to whatever you would ask is always right on the page right in front of you. But the ego will try to make a person think they need to stop reading what they just read and then figure out what it must have meant, instead of looking right back at the page to see that he just told you exactly what he was talking about right there in front of your face. What is pain? A wrong perspective. Are you having pain? Yeah, I'm deceiving myself. So it doesn't have to be a fact at all. There is no form that it takes that won't disappear if I see pain correctly. But then it goes on to say what the pain is witnessing to. Now, this is the challenge of A Course in Miracles. It defines unconscious ideas and beliefs that we have that's causing what we're going through that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. The Course in Miracles gives us ideas and it shows us the beliefs that we have that we don't know about that's causing the pain we're going through. And that's why it's a very challenging material to teach, because you're having to tell people stuff that they don't believe a lot of times and don't even think is true for them, even though they have the pain. So you got the pain, which is the proof that you must be doing the cause, but you think the cause is the weather is why I got the cold, or I hugged somebody and that's when I got the cold. See, our wrong mind is going to always project the cause as being something outside of us. Our right mind is going to always say, look within, look within, look within, look at your own thinking, look at your own thinking. And so it says, it's really saying God is cruel. There have been many times in my life when I'm going through pain and I go, whoever created me to be able to go through this sure doesn't seem like it was a very loving being. I remember being a kid, I was so mad at God when I was a kid. I was scared because I was born up in a fundamental religion, so cussing God out was taking a chance. Right? But I would get so frustrated, I can remember vividly doing it because I thought life was so unfair. And we were so poor, and I was going through so many changes. And then it looked like if you were in a black body in the South, you had all of these so-called oppressions and the segregation. And I remember being a kid go, what the hell did I do? And then it made me hate the color of my own skin, because it looked like the color of my own skin was causing me to experience all kinds of problems and challenges and restrictions. So when he says stuff like, for pain proclaims God cruel, that's exactly, if I'd be honest, if you lose a loved one, there's a part of the mind goes, what in the, either there is no creator or the creator is a sadist. And most people are even afraid to say that because they're unconsciously so afraid of God, they can't even admit that they're upset with God. That's all part of the fear of God. is that I can't admit to you that sometimes I hate my creator or don't even think my creator even exists. Because to have a world this insane, God must be insane. So I don't even want to admit to myself that I think God is crazy or no God, right? And so the Course in Miracles says, pain would proclaim God cruel, so how could it be real in any form? It witnesses to the fact that God, your creator, must freaking hate you. To put you in this kind of pain and let you stay in this kind of pain. He says a part of the mind believes the creator hates you, the sinfulness it sees in you. There must be something about you that's really bad for you to go through as much stuff as you go through. And he says there's a part of the mind that believes that when you're going through a lot of pain and suffering, your creator is taking revenge on you for what you've done. I used to hear that. You're gonna reap what you sow.
Yep.
You know? And then it says, and death. So God's final coup de grace is Earl dies.
Right.
Am I saying anything that's too far out for everybody? No, this is what I love about the Course in Miracles. It's real. It just gets real. It just tells it like it is. Anybody have something that jumped out that they thought about or they realized when I covered that paragraph?
I could relate coming from a totally different perspective, coming from a tiny girl's perspective.
Okay.
That the number of times that I believed God, one, hated me because I was so tiny and I was always unsafe, and two, because I was a girl.
Okay, so your girl was my black.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it really strikes me as deeply and passionately as I love God, I equally hated God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So a very split personality.
Mm-hmm. Or like most people do that I meet as a teacher, they just don't even want to deal with, they don't even want you to say the word God. So if I can't even say the word God, you know you got issues. Right? That's how you know you got issues. Because if you didn't have an issue, it wouldn't bother you one way or another. It wouldn't bother you if I said the word or didn't say the word. That's what I always tell people when I'm doing personal sessions with them. I want you to pay particular attention to something I say about your chart that you immediately go into contraction and you immediately feel defeated. I said, that's the main thing you need to take a look at. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've done sessions with couples and I'll be describing the tendency or trait with one of them and they're being told to now. Oh, me, I never get angry. She said, you just wanted to kill everybody on the way over here. That's what the partner said. You know, because we have this idealized image of ourselves that we use to make ourselves feel good about ourselves. And if we didn't have that ideal image, we wouldn't feel so good about it. So in other words, I'll see myself as being a much nicer person than I am. That's what I'm saying to you. That the Course taught me I wasn't nice. And that was the best thing it ever taught me. Because then it explained why I was in a world full of not nice people all the time. I'm not a nice person all the time. And the minute I internalized that it's me not being nice, then I could work on me being nice. But as long as I thought it was everybody else wasn't nice, then I was stuck. But that's the hardest thing in my working with people to get them to do is to admit to their shadow and to admit to their own darkness because they think their peace comes from pretending they're really nice. Or their peace comes from thinking they're really loving people. You know, I'm just this kind, loving, maybe that's why I step over this homeless person either way. I'm this really loving, kind, caring person. Right?
Les worded this interestingly. He said, I often believe I would rather have pain than God.
Yeah.
Rather have pain. Yeah. So his emphasis being that God's more scary than the pain he goes through.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Pain proclaims God is cruel, and that God hates me because I'm sinful. Because when I came into the planet, that's the first thing I was taught. I was sinful. Then it says, and also God is taking revenge on me for somehow I'm not worthy. Because the first thing I heard when I came on the planet was that the Son of God died for my sins. And I said to the people around me, even as a kid, how could that happen? And I wasn't born 2,000 years ago. But they told me not to question. Right. You know, I'm responsible for God's Son dying in 2000, but I was just born 10 years ago. Okay. Because you got to throw out all reason and logic to be traditionally religious. You really do. You just have to take every bit of common sense you have, and you have to just throw it away in terms of how most people deal with religion. And so the Course is saying, like it says here, can such projections be attested to? Can they be anything but totally false? Pain is but a witness to the son's mistakes and what he thinks he is. So when I have pain in my foot, I say, okay, I'm making a mistake in what I think I am. My foot is a reflection of me making a mistake in what I think I am. See, how many of you have ever done that when you've had a pain? Right. Okay, then how do you know it doesn't work? See, that's what attracts me to the Course. It'll say stuff that I've literally never heard or tried before. I've never heard anybody say, Earl, I asked them, are you in pain? What's going on? I've never had a person in my life say, I'm in this pain right now because I'm making a mistake in what I think I am. They always say something external. Even Course in Miracles students. Mm-hmm. So here it is, we're being told how to look at things, but as Course in Miracles students, we don't use any of it. We don't say any of it. I can count the number of times. I've been doing this 40 years, and I've never in 40 years ever heard a person respond to me and say, I got a toothache right now because I'm making a mistake in what I think I am. I got a toothache right now because I have a wrong perspective. Right now, I'm deceiving myself. That's why I'm having such a problem with my kid. See, how do you know it doesn't work? When even as truth students, we don't use it. We'll listen to this stuff in the class, right? Just like we're doing right now. And the temptation will be to walk right out of this door, and if you were having a pain, to say, oh, it's being caused because I'm eating too much over here. I'm eating too much salt. No, that's just a form of your self-deception. That's just the form that your fooling yourself has taken. So then the Course says, pain is a dream of a fierce retaliation for a crime that you couldn't have committed. God is taking vengeance on me for me being this sinful person, but I'm really not, because I really didn't destroy the child of God. I haven't destroyed anybody. I'm totally innocent. I'm not guilty. I'm not bad. I'm not separate. So therefore, God has not punished me for a crime I didn't commit, because I haven't done nothing to none of y'all. Mm-hmm. So why should I be punished? I haven't done anything to anybody in this room. And I haven't had the intention of doing anything to anybody outside of this room. And you haven't either. Did you get up this morning and say, I want to hurt someone? No. And 90% of the people you know don't get up in the morning with that as a goal. The mistake they make is that they're just coming up with the latest way for them to deceive themselves first thing in the morning. That they call that their ambitions, their goals, what it is they want the day to do to serve them. Right? So we get up in the morning, we want to have a happy day, but we don't realize that's the same as saying, oh, I want everybody to serve me and act exactly the way I want them to act today. That's what it means when the average person gets up and says, I want to have a great day. A great day is everybody doing what I want them to do, just how I want them to do it, and everything going the way I think it should go. That's what I call a great day. Now, when you hear me say that, can't you see that that's literally me wanting to make everything serve me? Mm-hmm. Think about it. What you're saying is, I want everybody all day to make Purdy feel good. And how they're going to make Purdy feel good? They're going to do what Purdy wants them to do, whether they want to or not. And if they don't, I'm going to say they're selfish and they don't support me. Mm-hmm. So true. Don't we do it? That's why I don't see why people don't jump up and down in the freaking Course class with, boy, that's true. Mm-hmm. And it's because everything the book says we do all the time, but it don't make us nice. Right? So people don't want to hear it because they really do want to believe I'm this nice person that everybody else is mistreating. Mm-hmm.
Poor me.
I love this. Now, you notice it doesn't bother me to say that, but it took lots of years for it not to bother me. Because when you first hear this kind of stuff, your tendency is to want to defend or beat yourself up. Oh, that's me. Oh, you're right. I'm just such a horrible person. You know, rather than go, oh, thank you for letting me know what I'm doing to cause myself pain. That's it. Oh, thank you for telling me that, oh, I need to say when I'm in pain, I'm having the wrong perspective, that I'm deceiving myself, that I'm saying God is out to get me, that I'm saying that I don't know who I really am. That's why I'm in this pain right now. And this will put you to sleep. Why? Because the part of you that doesn't believe any of this doesn't want you to hear it, because it doesn't make any sense to it and it doesn't go along with what it already believes. And that's called I'm going unconscious when he gives me the answer to my pain. Because you would think if somebody was telling you, today I'm going to cover how you can be free of all pain, you'd be on the edge of your seat. Right. Do you know why people are not on the edge of their seat? Because they don't believe this is the cause of their pain.
Right.
That's all. It just means you don't believe it. If I told you, there was $1 million check waiting for you in there, and you didn't believe it, it wouldn't excite you. You're just crazy. But if you really knew it was $1 million check in there waiting for you on the chair, I guarantee you none of y'all be nodding off.
Right.
We get excited about the things we value and the things that we believe are going to give us what we want for real. And if I think money is going to do it, I'm going to get excited when you tell me how to have money. If I think having a special relationship is going to do it, I'm going to get excited when you tell me how to get my soulmate. If I think my happiness is going to come from me having some successful career, you're going to only have my attention when you tell me how I can become a better president and CEO. You can tell what you value by what you get excited about, and you can tell what other people value by what they get excited about. So, since most people don't come to or listen to the course with excitement, it means there's a part of them that brought them to the class other than that part. Right? Which means there's another you that you don't know about. And that's what brings people to classes. That's what makes them tune in online. That's what makes, it's not the self that is out in the world every day. That self has no interest in nothing that I'm talking about because it already believes its happiness is outside of itself. And that's why, again, it's interesting when you're a teacher of this material, because in most cases, you're teaching something that people don't act excited about because it's the opposite to what a part of them believes. Yes. And the Course says, pain, I love this part, when he says, it's a witness in your mistake in what you are. So the next time you have a pain, say, I'm making a mistake in what I think I am. It's a dream of fierce retaliation for a crime that couldn't be committed, for attack on what is totally unattackable. So you are beyond being attacked. Who you really are, the spiritual being that you really are, can't be hurt by anything. The spiritual being that you really are cannot be hurt by anything. Your true identity cannot be hurt by anything. Your true identity can never be hurt by anything. Your true identity can never experience pain. What you really and truly are can never experience pain. Your true self can never experience pain. What did I say?
My true self can never experience pain.
So if I'm experiencing pain, I'm experiencing, see, it's the wrong foot. See, that shows you how much it goes away. I picked up the wrong foot, right? Because why? In this moment, I'm not deceiving myself.
Right.
See, I just got through saying my true self doesn't experience pain. Okay, that was me telling the truth about myself, no pain in my foot, because I told the truth about myself. The difference is I've done this so long, I'm open and receptive to that idea more than a person who's just hearing it for the first time. Okay? So it says it's a nightmare. So when you're in pain, you're actually having a nightmare. And he says, well, what is the nightmare? You think that God's eternal love has abandoned you. You think health has abandoned you. You think joy has abandoned you. When you're in pain, you think joy has abandoned you. Right? And then it says, which could not leave the child in love who he created out of love. You could never be abandoned by an eternal love that would never leave you no matter what, because you were created out of love. Somebody that loves you never leaves you. Somebody that loves you never leaves you. Doesn't mean that their body is always around you. It means their love never leaves you. Sometimes the best way to show somebody you love them is to leave them.
Yeah.
They're much happier without you. Especially if they can't accept you for who you are, and they need you to be something different for them to be happy. You need to free them to maybe have that with somebody who can do it, because no conscious being is going to be in a relationship where the person is constantly demanding that they change who they are in order to love them. First of all, the minute I hear you tell me that, I know you don't love me. See, the Course has been teaching me for almost 40 years what a person says who loves me and how a person acts who loves me. So once I remember that, if somebody comes at me trying to make me feel guilty or blaming me for everything they're going through, then I don't even spend 2 seconds being in the turmoil of, is this person telling the truth? No, I know they're not telling the truth, because they're saying I'm the one that's 100% responsible for what they're going through. The truth has taught me that's a lie. That doesn't mean I won't have compassion. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't still want peace with that person, but it darn sure means I'm not going to make myself feel guilty as if I'm making them feel the way that they feel. Doesn't mean I'm going to be cold. It just means I'm not going to take the responsibility for what you feel. Which a fear-based person would tell you you're cruel, because they can't manipulate you through their anger and their guilt. So you need to be around people who are practicing the truth when you begin to practice the truth, because when you focus all your attention on people who don't practice the truth, they're not going to like you. Because you're not going to be doing any of the things that, you're not going to fall for any of their manipulations. You're not going to let them guilt trip you. You're not going to let them attack you. You're not going to let them blame you for what they are going through. And they're going to see you, if they're typical, they're going to see you as selfish. They're going to see you as uncaring because you won't allow yourself to be manipulated by them. Are you hearing me, good folk? Okay, so I'm also going to warn you. If you keep on insisting on having relationships with conscious people, none of your games are going to work either. So you got to remember, that's why most people try to form relationships with people who are more unconscious than them. Because then they think they got one up on them. See, if I'm smarter than you, I can manipulate you better. But if I'm dealing with an equal, then I got to live what I'm talking about. Yep. But if I'm with somebody that don't know as much as me, then I don't. So what is a sign when you really start to love yourselves? You're going to want to be around equals. You're going to want to be around people that you can communicate freely where you're coming from, and they have a similar value system. Doesn't mean that they don't have their own thoughts, but you all have a similar value system. That's how you have peaceful relationships. You're not unequally yoked. But that's what I used to go for all the time. That the beautiful saying, opposites attract. Only when you're not aware.
Right.
When you become aware, you want same attraction. You want you all to have the same common state of mind, the same purpose. That doesn't mean you're not going to have your individual personalities or your individual thoughts. But y'all both know you both headed to England, even if you talked about two different things on the airplane to get there. But you're still moving toward the same destination. So that's what the Course is saying to us. Pain is a sign that you're letting false ideas rule in your mind instead of the truth. So I go, oh, okay, girl, you're letting false ideas rule in your mind right now. You think you got a cold. Then he goes on to say, pain demonstrates that you're denying God. So somebody asked me how I'm doing right now. I said, well, my foot is showing me that I'm denying love right now, Do you know that if I was to say that, that would bring about a bigger healing than I have love right now? You've already done that. You've already said all the positive stuff. But you haven't told the truth. The truth is, I'm in pain because there's some part of my mind right now that is denying God, that is denying love. And how's that going to hurt me to say that? It's not. I'm just telling the truth. Unless I still want to deceive myself into thinking that I'm not denying God. Well, I'm going to show you how you can tell that you are denying God. Why? You're in pain. That's how you keep from fooling yourself. Don't be telling me you have nothing but love for me and you're full of all kinds of grievances and upset. Sorry. I love it when someone's upset. I've had letters and emails where sometimes people will be upset with me and they'll tell me everything that's wrong with me, up and down in their perception and how I should have been according to them. And I love at the end, they go, but I really love you. I really love you. I'm like, wow. I hate to think how you'd be talking to me if you hated me. If this is the way you talk to somebody you love, then I know the Course has already told me. Say anybody that thinks it's kind of right and good to correct you, that's an ego. So if they're correcting you and you didn't ask for their correction, don't wonder about whether this is the ego giving you advice or not. This is the false self talking to you. Because no one who knows the truth would be trying to correct you. They'd be trying to correct their own perception. And they would know that whatever they saw in you was their own ego. So they'd be thanking you for letting them know what they needed to fix in their own perception. So if I say you selfish, I should go, instead of trying to make you less selfish, I should be going, oh, I need to work on being less selfish. Thank you for making me aware of that. And you know what will happen when you start doing that? The people who are selfish will start to disappear because they only showed up to help you get in touch with yourself. And so the minute you go, that's me, oh, we can go now. Unselfishness can go. The pain in the butt person, or I'm a pain in the butt to myself. Oh, I can go now. I made you aware of where the pain in the butt's located, so I don't have to keep giving you a hard time. So everything happens just the opposite from the way your ego tells you if you practice the truth. Like you said, I'm going through pain because I'm denying God. Your ego would say, well, that sounds negative. So if you say you're denying God, you would really be denying God. No, it's saying you've already denied God. That's why you're in pain. It's like somebody giving you the answer that you're asking. Why am I in pain? I'm denying love. I'm denying that love is real, and love is permanent, and love is joyful, and that love exists, and that love is what I am right now. But since there is no punishing God, I don't have to feel afraid to admit that. See, if I'm afraid to admit it, that's a reflection of me still thinking something could punish me. Right? Why else should I be afraid to admit something unless I think it's going to cause something negative to happen to me? But if I know that what loves me is going to love me no matter what, then I don't have a problem saying, you're right, God, you're right, love, I'm denying you. See what I mean? Because God, what loves me is not going to beat the hell out of me because I admitted that. But if you still have the residue of those old beliefs of fear of God, then you can't even admit your own fears and hates to yourself. The time a person can look at you in your face for the purpose of joining with you and say, there's a part of me that hates your friggin' guts. And I'm telling you this because I don't want to. And I realize there's something in me that needs to be corrected. Would you help me? I want to join with you. If you ever have a person attack you or say something which you consider is untrue and negative to you in any way, and then you respond with, there's no way that I'm really I'm not intending to hurt you in any way. I want you to have peace. That's not my goal. Even if you thought I was doing that, that's not what I'm doing. And if I did, I ask for your forgiveness. And that person does not respond, then just release it. Because you've done your part. It means right now that it may heal over time, but right now they don't want to join. Right now they still want whatever. Right now their grievance against you is giving them some kind of payoff that's more important to them than healing with you. Yeah. That's all that means. For some reason, since all I can do is say, I'm sorry. All I can do is say, that wasn't my goal and my purpose, and I really want to join with you. If that doesn't get it, and I do that sincerely, there ain't freaking other thing I can do. And so for me to keep on trying to come back, okay, let me apologize another way. Because what they want to hear you say is, you're guilty. Nothing less than you saying they're right is going to satisfy them. They're not interested in you saying, I won't forgive them. They want you to say, you got this horrible perception of me and you're right. They want to be right. Because that allows them to feel like they are a victim of what they just experienced with you, which means that they feel so guilty that the only way they can feel good about themselves is to make you the villain. They need to be able to say, I am more innocent than you are. So they will not accept your extensions of forgiveness because they want to be separate. But you offered forgiveness, which means you were truly ready to be out of your pain. Y'all right? You didn't say that maybe you didn't make a mistake, or that there was something maybe you wish you had done differently. What you're saying is, if the only thing I can do about it is change the way I'm relating to you now, that's if what you say it has some truth about it. Because sometimes what people are saying about you is a flat out lie. It is not true, and so you should not even approach what they're saying to you as if it's true. Give it any kind of real power, because if you know your heart and you know your purpose, you know whether or not you are trying to hurt somebody, no matter how much they may say you tried to hurt them, which is usually a reflection of you not acting out their script. That's your sin, by the way. Your sin is you're not acting the way I want you to. You're not treating me the way I want you to. You're not saying the things I want you to say to me. That's your sin. And if you feel guilty, you'll buy into it. And you'll try to think of every way you can to get that person to like you by changing who you are. Because your own self-esteem is so low that you think you need somebody else's approval to be a good, valuable person. So if you're going to have a relationship, please have a relationship with somebody that helps you feel better about yourself. Make that the basic rule. We are going to be helping each other as much as we can feel better about ourselves together. I don't need any help to feel like crap about myself. I can do that on my own. I don't need your help. I don't need you to tell me the things I'm working on in myself that's causing me pain because I forgot who I am, and then you add 2 or 3 things I forgot about. But you forgot what you did Christmas.
7 years ago.
Yeah, you forgot what you did 7 years ago. I love it when somebody tells me a grievance they got against me for something that happened 8 years ago, but they said they've forgiven it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. How in the world do you think you're loving me and you're still telling me what you think I did to you? 8 years ago, or 9 years ago, or 10 years ago. I'm telling you, you're on the right path to not allow yourself to be manipulated. That's good news, because most people go through pain because they went out with the person they shouldn't have. They took the job they shouldn't have. If they had known the truth, they never would have gotten into the situation in the first place. So always be glad when you wake up enough to recognize manipulation.
Yes.
And the Course is saying to us right here, I love this. He says, whenever you're going through pain, it demonstrates that you're denying God, that you think love is fear, and you think your Creator is crazy, and you think the Creator created that which would turn on it. Right? So I'm going to create beings who want to kill me.
Right.
And you know why that makes sense to people? Because they form relationships with people who want to kill them. Right? The relationship was their creation, and then the person hates them and criticizes and judges them all the time. So that convinces us that we can make creations that attack us. So why would we think that our Creator is that way? That our Creator would create something that attacked it, and that it is us.
Yeah.
And so the Course in Miracles said, Earl, so instead of arguing with that, because I want to get rid of my pain, I will say, right now, I'm going through this pain in my body, and you can pick the part. I'm denying God. I'm confusing God with fear. I think God is crazy, and I think God is a traitor to God. And if I was to do that consistently, my pain will go away. And you can't tell me it doesn't work if you haven't tried it. So, because we want to be assured that something works before we try it. And that's another way that we delay our healing. We go, I'm not going to try this until I absolutely know it's going to work. And then, where do you have that kind of certainty in any area of your life? Nowhere. But we'll put that kind of certainty on the truth. The truth will be the one place we'll try to be in integrity. It's like, it's so funny. It's like, I can't say this if I don't believe it. You say all kinds of stuff all day you don't believe. You just did it an hour ago when you told that person you liked the pair of pants they had on. We do it all the time. But the Course will say, okay, I want you to say something you don't believe. And if you do that, you'll be healed. And then we go, but I can't say that, I don't believe it. It just said, I want you to say something you don't believe. You're good at that. Don't tell yourself you're not good at that. You're excellent at saying things you don't necessarily mean. That's what's called being human in the world. You do it all the time. So I'm just trying to use that habit you got to your advantage. Wouldn't that be easier? What? Well, Earl, wouldn't it be easier rather than trying to get you to change all the time if I was God, that I just use the way you already are to benefit you? That way you don't have to change. You just keep being what you are, but you just have a different purpose. You just change the purpose. Right? So it says right here, so if you have any pain in your life right now, say to yourself, okay, I'm letting false ideas rule in place of truth. Then you say to yourself, I'm denying love. Then you say to yourself, I'm confusing love and fear. Then you say to yourself, I think what created me is nuts. Then you say, I think my Creator is a traitor to itself. Answers. Then it says, what next? It says, if God is real, there is no pain. So at the point you experience real love, not the stuff we give. Not talking about that counterfeit love. I'm not talking about us now. I'm not talking about our level of love. The Course calls that, specialness, right? It says, when we really know God, know real love, you are guaranteed to have no pain. So now I know where I'm at. I still think I go through pain, so I know my work is to continue to heal my sense of separation from God. See, now it just told me, Earl, don't fool yourself, man. I know you think you got total and complete faith in God. Are you upset all the time? Are you hurting about something? Are you projecting in it? Well, you still need to work on your relationship with God. It's letting you know that you don't believe in love as much as you think you do. That doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you sinful. It's just a fact And so if you know that you're not expressing real love yet, now you know what your goal should be. And you should join with other people with the same goal.
Right.
You want unlimited happiness, joy, peace, and innocence, and they want a house in Denver. Y'all gonna clash. Y'all got different values. That doesn't mean they want a house in Denver is cool. Just that they can pay for.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is, you need to have the same purpose.
Yes.
So the Course says, now, I'm going to be tempted to forget everything I just told you. That's why I'm going to listen back to it again. I'm going to still be tempted to think I'm going through a pain because of some physical cause. And most of the people around me are going to tell me it's because of that. They are. And they're going to say, if I say it's because I'm denying love and deceiving myself and seeing myself as real, seeing God as cruel and punishing me, they're going to try to talk me out of that perception. Or just think something about me is crazy. That's why higher consciousness beings don't talk to us. You ever wonder why you don't ever hear all these higher beings that you're talking about? They know that the best way to help us is for them to not even engage us in a conversation.
They're too sane for that.
They're too sane for that because they know we're going to react to them this way, the people that react to us that we try to tell the truth to. So don't think you're so open-minded that your higher self could present you with some premises and ideas that you would be just as tempted to think is crazy as your relatives would think that your pain coming from a wrong perspective is crazy. You just have gotten to the point you can accept some of these ideas. But you could be presented with new ideas and will be presented with new ideas that are going to affect you the same way you're going to go, oh, ain't no way in the world I could be here and in Egypt at the same time. There's no way I could know what everybody around me is thinking. What you talking about? That's some weird stuff. See, and that's what they feel about the stuff we're saying to them. When Spirit tells us we're totally, completely innocent, unlimited, and not our bodies, and here we go, I don't know if that's true. But that's what they're saying when you say your stuff. They're going, oh, I don't know if that's true. So what do I need? Then I need to become more open-minded, right? Because if I become more open-minded and my consciousness creates my reality, then I'll draw what kind of people to me? More open-minded people. But I have to be open-minded myself. So how do you become open-minded? Just say, what I know may not be all there is to know. That's all you have to say. I don't know everything. I don't know. So you get up in the morning, you go, I don't know everything. 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 You can probably feel yourself feeling relaxed as I say that. You don't know everything. You don't know everything. You don't know. And the Course says when you say that, that's the same as saying God does know. So whenever I say I don't know, the universe is going, oh, he's saying God knows. Everything knows, because God is all that is. God is all that is. You want to get past that body image of God? Think of God as all that is. See, if I say all that is, it's no way in the world you're going to think you know what all that is.
Right.
You're going to immediately go, all that is, that means there's some things that is that I don't know is. So guess what? Maybe the answer and the help could come from all that is that I don't know is. Because when I think I know, I'm not letting nothing come in other than what I think I know.
Right.
So if you really want help from the universe really, really quick, stop saying you know anything for sure about everything. It's really anything when you really want to get real. So what is pain? I'll finish up here. It says, you need to understand that, I love this. If pain is real, there is no God. If pain is real, there is no God. For vengeance, which is God kicking your butt and putting you through hell because you're such a bad person, is not part of love. You can't be telling me you love me and you're trying to take revenge on me and make me feel horrible. Don't you dare say you love me and you're attacking me at the same time. So the Course then says what? And fear, which is what? Denying love. So whenever I feel afraid, I try to remember to tell myself, Earl, you're denying love right now. If you got fear about your finances, and I'm denying wealth right now. I got fear about my health. I'm sick. I'm denying my health right now. Say that instead of I feel sick. Go, I'm denying my health. Because you can only deny what you know is there. That's what denial is. It's pretending that something that's there isn't. So as soon as you say, I am in the denial of health, it's an affirmation that health exists. This is different. How many people you ever met that said, I'm in denial of health? So how do you know it doesn't work? That's my point. How do you know this doesn't work when you've never heard anybody that said it, and you know you haven't done it on a consistent level yourself, but all the rest of the explanations you've heard all your life 1,000,000 times. You've always heard the person is in a painful relationship because of what somebody else is doing to them. There's nothing new about that perspective. So it would have to be, I'm in pain in this relationship because of something I am seeing or doing within myself. Because that's the only thing that's truly opposite. So maybe it will work. So at the end it says, I love this. It says, in fear, denying love, you're using pain to prove that God is dead. I'm trying to use my foot to prove God's dead right now. That's what's going on with me right now. What's happening with you?
Ooh, you're so powerful.
See, that's what you do. I'm trying to prove God is dead today. What's going on with you, honey? They will never forget that conversation the rest of their life. You will not be a conversation that they don't remember later on in the day. You know. You broke, they evicting you? Yeah, honey, I'm trying to prove my wealth is dead. I got dead wealth. My wealth and abundance is dead. That's why I'm so broke. I'm trying to prove to you that I don't have no abundance. Because you see,
you're doing a good job.
but I got a good job. Okay? And so it says, God is dead, that death is victor over life. I love this is so funny, really, when you think about it. If you gave people these explanations, they'd never ask you any more questions. You would have to worry about getting unsolicited advice. Never mind. Yeah, he said the body is the Son of God. So I would also say, I'm going through pain in my feet because I'm trying to prove that I'm my feet. That I'm a body, right? And then he says, corruptible in death, you know, and I'm as mortal as the God I killed. I'm trying to prove I'm just as mortal as the God I made mortal and killed. That's what's going on with my foot. So acknowledge yourself for hearing this much. Come on. Don't mind. Come on. That's right. Do you know how freaking old you have to be as a soul and how tired you are paying to come to this class? You have no idea how tired of it and fed up y'all are, even if you don't know you are. That's why you showed up today. I just got to hear something else. It's got to be something other than what my sister just told me. It's got to be better than this. All right, let's do the love offering, and I appreciate you all. If you want to make a financial expression of appreciation, that's beautiful. Thank you as a full-time teacher. I appreciate that. And those of you online that would like to do that, just go to my website, Earl Purdy, PURDY.com. And if you want to use Venmo, my email is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. I want to admit to myself and remind myself that I'm sustained by the love of God. Would you remind yourself that you're sustained by the love of God?
I am sustained.
You are sustained by the love of your Creator. You're sustained by. If you say all that is for God, check this out. I am sustained by the love of all that is. That's calling on everything. Think about that. I'm going to go to all that is for the solution to my problem. You're asking for every possible way the solution could come to you when you make statements like that. God is not a man in the sky kicking butt. God is not a human being that's dysfunctional with superpowers. Okay? But that's the more popular one. If I was talking about him, it'd be people out in the street to be such a lion in here. You know what I'm saying? You wonder why when you're only telling people they deserve love and innocence, it's hard to get people to come to anything on any regular basis. You tell them they're going to hell and they're sinful, and you got a mega church, and they all tired. It's amazing. It's amazing how attracted we are to pain and condemnation and judgment. You know why? Because I want to condemn and judge. It makes me feel okay about judging everybody else.
I want to be the author.
Yeah, I want to be the author.
I
want to be the author. And I'm available for one-on-one personal sessions. And I've done astrology and numerology for over 40 years. It's what actually got me into the Course in Miracles. There's a divine plan for your life. You weren't just dropped in here to try to figure it all out by yourself. Open-mindedness is the key to happiness. Open your mind. There's some things that might help you that you may not believe in or think has validity. Wow. When you can get beyond the belief that everything has to fit into your beliefs, you will find there's a whole new world waiting for you that'll thrill you. Back in the kitchen. Hello, people in the kitchen. The chinking noise, please. Thank you. Them dishes getting clean. I don't care what's going on. They're serious in there. I'm deceiving myself.
Do I really have type 1 diabetes? Sometimes I spiral out
Now,
of control.
okay, you go. Type 1 diabetes is the reflection of your not truly knowing your connection with your Creator and the loving being that you really are yet. And so therefore, you do whatever they tell you to do that you believe could work in order to help with your diabetes. So it's about telling yourself the truth and doing what you would do if you never heard it. Tell yourself the truth and then do whatever the external physical things that you're supposed to do. Because it's a process.
Diabetes is about sweetness of life.
You know. And it's very much about I'm deceiving myself. I think God is cruel. Some part of me feels like my Creator hates me, that I'm making a mistake in who I think I am. See, I want you to start, as Course in Miracles studiers, of students, and those of you online, I'm going to say it again. Even though there are other ways of looking at it, other than the way that the Course describes, try looking at it the way the Course is telling you to. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there are not other ways to look at. I'm not saying anything about what I've said today is the only way you can look at things. What I've said that this is another way you can look at things. And don't tell yourself it doesn't work. See, you don't know what 6 months of telling yourself this, you don't know the effect it could have on your diabetes. You could have a miracle where they go, God, I don't know. What happened? He had it, but it disappeared. You don't know if you never use the suggestions that we're being given right now. And as a Course in Miracles student and a true student, I have to admit that I do that too much. Where I read an answer, but then I come up with my own right afterwards. Rather than just go, for the rest of the day, I'm going to say, I'm in pain and it's proof that I'm deceiving myself. I'm just going to say that one thing. Or, okay, I'm denying God right now and I think God is cruel and it's taking the form of me having a backache and earache, losing my job, or being broke, or whatever you think the thing is that isn't causing you peace right now. Tell yourself there's another way to look at diabetes. And you know what the Course says too? It says be specific. I love that you were very specific about it. You didn't talk to me in an abstract way. You didn't go, well, my ego. No, you said diabetes. And the Course says that's what you do. You take that and then you substitute it here. And you go, the diabetes is a wrong perception. Then you read through it that way. When diabetes is experienced in any form, is proof of self-deception. My diabetes is not a fact at all. Did not say that you did not think of it as a fact. Did not say you was not physically experiencing it as a fact. My toe hurt. So I'm not denying that. He's just giving me the truth. The Course is just telling me how I should look at it. And it told me I didn't have to believe it. I can't think of anything easier than that. Right? It says, say this, Earl, that it's a wrong perspective, but you don't have to believe it. And yet we'll say the Course in Miracles is hard. What could be easier than that? He just says, I want you to remember it. Just remember it. Just keep saying it, because when you leave out of here, you should give yourself a silver star if you remember 2 sentences that I said after you leave here 30 minutes from now, or that you use any of it. That's a miracle if you do that. It'd be a miracle if the next time you're hurting and somebody says to you, why are you hurting? And you say, I'm denying God and I'm using this pain to prove that God is dead. What about you? Got it?
Yeah.
Got it? So Thursdays at 7 p.m. I do my hardcore Course in Miracles class, 7 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook Live. It's hardcore. It's especially geared toward people who study the course. And then Sundays, as long as people keep showing up, I'll keep doing it. If the universe shows me I'm not supposed to be doing it because nobody comes, I'm going to stop. That doesn't be time for me to stop. It means I'm supposed to be doing something else. It took me so long to learn little simple things like that, rather than thinking about how can I get them back? Or how can I make them come? It's like, I don't have to make nobody come, and I'm not going to touch that. But, now, people don't have a sense of humor, it kills them. They die a slow death in my class. People don't have a sense of humor. You know? They die. The Course says the truth will immobilize that fearful person. You can be so loving that someone that would want to hurt you couldn't move. Isn't that deep? You would absolutely immobilize them. That's powerful. That's powerful when you think about it. I could be so loving that no one could hurt me. I know I can. I just have to get the crap out the way so that light can come through. Right? That's all I'm doing now. That's it. That's 100. And I'm not trying to do it by myself. I'm asking for the part of me that knows the truth to help me. The part of you that's never denied God. The part of you that knows you are only love and only innocent. So you're also supposed to look at any kind of sickness as a call for love, a call for health. So what you're saying to me is, I want somebody to really love me. I want to really love me, and I want real love. And this is what I'm going through right now, is my call for somebody to love me. That's what any pain is, any anger, any selfishness. It's that person saying to you, you know, Donald Trump is saying, love me. Yeah. That's what he said, I want some love. I need somebody to demonstrate what love is for me. And to show us our perception, there are many people who think he does reflect love for them because he is serving the causes that's important to them. And they do love him. But what could be a better proof that it's coming from the meaning you give something and the meaning you're giving a person? I love to have the power to love you all and you don't have nothing to say about it. You couldn't stop me from appreciating you if I wanted to, no matter what you do. Now, the minute I wanted to get something back for it, now I'm vulnerable. But if I could love all y'all and see y'all as not being bodies and deserving to be happy, I can see you that way even if you don't feel that way about yourself. And guess what? That's what I'm freaking doing. Woo. That's what I'm doing.
Stop talking so dirty.
That's what I'm doing. I know. I love talking dirty. I do. So, all right. So I'm gonna close down right about now. Take a breath with me. Look, I went a little bit over. I'm sorry.
No.
Please forgive me.
Don't be sorry.
Okay. That's good. But I'm pretty good at being sorry. I got that down pat. I can pull that off in 2 seconds. Here we go. And we're going to say this. Mighty Companions Online, I love y'all so much for tuning in. And share the video. Share the video. And so we're going to do this before we go. Here we go. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. I choose the joy of love instead of pain. See what I'm saying? So now you all have the answer to letting go of all pain. So the challenge is, will we say, I'm deceiving myself right now and it's taking the form of the pain that I'm going through? And try that consistently for a week and see what happens. All right? I love you. I appreciate you. I love you and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for helping me remember what I need to remember. Thank you for helping me remember what I need to remember. I promise you I'm going to try to, I will attempt to practice this as best I can to free you from my projections and judgments. But in the meantime, I'm going to judge the hell out of you. See you next time. I know you don't. I know you don't. I know you don't. I know you don't either. I know you, especially get off that sofa. Get off that couch.